New show alert. Ambitions on OWN. I started not to do this. I started to leave this because I'm kind of feeling the same way about this as I did about have and have nots in the very beginning. If you know my history, you know I did not start doing the have and have nots in the very beginning. I didn't come in until seasons and seasons in, and I kind of get some of the same feeling about this. But let's go ahead because it got a whole lot. You know, I love a love triangle, so that's the thing that got me hooked is the love. They have a very demented. It's more than a love triangle. It's like a six-sided star, honey. It got a whole lot going on. Anyway, so we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. This is Ambitions. And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I'm going up on my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag in all its forms. What, Cookie? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Ambitions, Season 1, Episode 1. Like I said, we're going to do this. Let me tell you about these people, okay? They're kind of deep. So, first people we see is Stephanie Carlisle Lancaster and her husband, Evan Lancaster, who is actually the mayor. They're not actually the first people we see, but they're the most important. You need to know about them. He wants to be the governor, so he wants to be the first black governor of Atlanta. So you got them. The Lancaster family, that's Stephanie's family. She comes from a family of lawyers. Her father owns a law firm. A little bit about that. He owns a law firm. She is basically, she's a bitch, to put it nicely. She is working to try to pull this law firm from up underneath her dad. Okay? Slickly. But her dad, he's on to her and he knows, and he told her right in this episode, are you kidding? Don't try to swindle my company from up underneath me. You're not ready to run anything, and that's why I'm here. You just sit down and you need to learn patience. Sit down. And she's giving, really, Daddy? Okay. So she's a whole mess. She's a whole mess. And she basically hates her husband. She does not like Evan Lancaster in the least. It's all fronts. It's all for show. She can't stand him. Can't stand him. She actually, the first scene that we saw her, she was having a dream about him trying to kill her. Okay? She hates him. Anyway, let's go to this other couple. Titus Hughes and Amara Hughes. Now, what you need to understand, Titus is a lawyer and so is Amara. They work for different firms. Okay? Titus, Amara, and Stephanie all went to, and I'm sorry, the law firm, Stephanie Carlisle law firm is where she works. That's her dad. Her dad is Carlisle. Lancaster is her husband's last name. Okay, so clear that up. Stephanie, when she was still Carlisle. Amara and Titus all went to college together. All three of them were in the law program. Stephanie and Titus used to date. Amara won Titus due to a pregnancy. Okay? He married her because she was pregnant, and she ended up losing the baby. It ended in miscarriage. So she didn't even have the baby. Amara knows in her deep down in her crawl that he resents it and that he really wanted Stephanie. Okay? He says that he didn't, but he really did. And then somewhere in the marriage, Amara has actually cheated on Titus and he can't forgive her. That's the very first scene we saw was them two get ready to get down. And she told him, I love your hands all over me. And for whatever reason, he said it's not the first time he heard it. So there must have been some type of evidence or he must have seen a video or something of her with this person named Damien that she cheated with. And he's like, where's the first time? That's not the first time I ever heard that. But it made him give this, honey, when she said it. And they have a child who is a daughter who is actually away at boarding school. And they've just moved to Atlanta. So they got a lot going on. Amar works for a law firm that is actually coming after Stephanie Lancaster. And her boss had actually come to her and asked her about taking the case going after Stephanie. Some case they had. And she declined in the beginning. She declined in the beginning. Then we'll get into it, but she declined. She said, no, I'm not the right person for the job. She wouldn't even go into the whole. She said, we have a background. We went to school together. She's like, that's exactly why. She's like, no, I'm not the right person. Well, Titus works for a law firm that is actually that is Purefoy. It's the Purefoy family. They own a pharmaceuticals company. And Stephanie Carlisle Lancaster, Carlisle law firm is going after the Purefoy pharmaceuticals. They're trying to take them completely down. Stephanie actually has a sister. I believe her name was Tracy, who actually had OD'd on opioids. So it's like a whole personal thing. With Purefoy, they want to take them down. Titus is their lawyer. Okay? So we end up seeing Titus and Stephanie run into each other, and they find out that they are the two lawyers who want to go after each other. And you can see that there's all this sexual tension there with them. They had this little face off, as she told them, we were a lot of things to each other. We were friends. She said, no, wait a minute. She said, we were enemies, we were lovers, we were classmates, but we were never great friends. So, now you're going to see me and I'm going to mop the floor with you, basically. That she's talking shit to him. And he's like, that's fine, bring it to me, give it to me, whatever. Shortly after they had that little face off, we see Miss Stephanie over there taking a bubble bath, honey, fantasizing about Titus beating her box, honey. I said, oh, Miss Stephanie. Okay, girl. So then there's this fundraiser that's actually going to go on, okay? There was a whole lot in this first episode. There's this fundraiser that's going to go on, and they're raising funds for research and also helping people who have battled with opioid deaths and addictions and all of this. So they're having this fundraiser. The Purefoys are a whole mess. That Mr. Purefoy, he is just as prejudiced as he could be. He was talking to Titus and giving him very much of, he all but called him boy and nigga. Okay? Just a mess. Just a whole mess. And basically, I need a brother like you on my team. I was like, oh. He was going all through me with his bullshit. I said, oh my. So he was doing all this, but he said, Titus told him, you can't. He was saying he didn't want to go to the fundraiser because he hates the Carlisles. And he said, but you have to go. You have to go. You need to go to the fundraiser. And what you need to do is go ahead and give a donation. It'll look good for you. Okay, one more character. Let me tell you about Rondell. Rondell Lancaster is Evan's sister. She owns a restaurant, and I believe she takes care of their father. Okay, she's just a regular schmegular girl. Her brother's a snake. Okay, there's this guy named Peters who is a real estate developer and a snake. You understand me? He comes into her restaurant, basically threatening her because he wants to buy the property she won't sell. And he's just, they're going back and forth. And he throws a slick shade and a threat. She had this knife in her hand, a butcher knife. This is all right in the midst of the damn restaurant. And she put the knife right into his chest. He walked into the knife up to the point where it was piercing him, and he started bleeding through his shirt, and told her, the next time you pull a knife on me, you better mean it. You know, it gets real dangerous in these streets of Atlanta. Threatening her, carrying on. She was like, you get the hell out of here. All this carrying on. Then he ends up meeting up with Rondell's brother, the mayor, and he ain't back down. He told him, I went to see your sister. He's like, I need you to stop doing that. Don't be threatening my sister and carrying on. I told you I would take care of it. I'll take care of it. Now, that whole thing, listen, Stephanie is all up on that as well. She hates Rondell. And she's up on that whole thing and telling him, you need to go ahead and take care of your sister. Stop being a wuss. I'm like, oh, they are cutthroat. But Peters stood right up in Evan's face and threatened her again. I said, what kind of man are you? And he told me, if you ever want to be governor, you'll get it done. Instead of threatening your family. I said, that's a mess. Anyway, so that Peters is a mess. He's a whole mess. So when we're at the gala, of course, Rondell is actually doing the food. Her and Peters have another little run-in. And she told him, you get away from my goddamn stand. A mess. A whole mess. Now, dig this. Stephanie and Evan have a daughter. Cute little girl. She's a theater major, okay? Her mother doesn't care for it at all. Stephanie wants to control her. She wants her to go into the family business. But she won't do that. She's a theater major. So we end up finding out later on now the Purefoys has a daughter around the same age, okay? She actually is into the family business. She works at Purefoy. And this was the craziest scene. This is the scene that got me. This is why we're here. So y'all can thank them for this on honey. This whole scene. The Purefoys are meeting up with the Hughes for the first time, okay? So they meet up with them. And Mr. Purefoy and his wife are standing there with their daughter. And we see Titus and Amara, okay? So Titus and Amara are standing there, and the eyes are going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Mr. Purefoy wants some of Amara. Mrs. Purefoy is rolling her eyes at Amara because she see her husband looking at Amara. But she got her eyes, she looking straight down on Titus because she wanted a little taste of that chocolate, honey. And Amara done clocked her and seen her and was giving, really? And then she had the nerve to, Titus ends up going and having to go walk away and do something else. Because he ends up meeting, while that's going on, we get Stephanie and Evan Lancaster come up. And Stephanie throws a little dagger at Amara. So Amara excused herself to go to the bar because she just ain't having to do. Because good old nasty Mrs. Purefoy was being real shady to Amara too, talking like she wasn't nothing. Oh, you from Texas? Oh, your family must be proud that you pulled yourself up by your bootstrap, like she wasn't shit. I said, she felt all of the racial tension and she excused herself and walked away. This was after Stephanie and Evan walked away. Evan shaded the hell out of Titus. Titus says, oh, it's nice to meet you, Evan, because Stephanie introduced him and said, this is my husband, Mayor Lancaster, and Mayor Evan Lancaster. And he says, you're Titus Hughes that I've heard about. He's like, yeah. And he told him, he says, well, he's like, it's nice to meet you, Evan. He says, no, I prefer Mayor Lancaster, baby, and walked away. I said, oh, shady, honey. There was a whole lot of shade going on. The daughter excused herself and went to the bathroom. While she was in the bathroom, she then ran into the Lancaster's daughter in the bathroom, baby, and they get to going back and forth, and she's going, my family, your family, that little thing. They're having this, my family's better, your family's better, and all of this. And then she's like, let's just talk about truths and living in your truth. And she grabs the Lancaster child's phone from her. She said, "Give me that back." She takes it, she puts something in there. She says, "I put my phone number in there. And when you get ready to really talk about your truth, then you come and see me." And she leaned into her baby and gave her and licked her whole mouth. Baby! I said, "Oh!" And honey, the little Lancaster child was standing there. I said, "Oh, of course she done clocked your lesbianics, honey." I said, "Oh, lesbianics, honey. Okay. Boy, I bet your mother really don't like that, honey." I said, "Oh, here we go." So I said, "Yeah, this is going to be some mess, honey." I said, "Oh, no, she didn't give her whole lips, honey. The whole," I said, "Oh, she had to wipe her chin." I said, "Girl, she got you, bitch. She got you, honey." And she's standing there looking stupid. I said, "Girl, you want some of it, honey." A mess. It was a mess. All of that right there. I said, "Oh." And wait a minute. Let me give you one more. So there's this girl, Bella. She's real pretty. She's a dress designer. And she's the designer. She's friends with Stephanie Carlisle Lancaster. She made her dress. Beautiful red strapless mermaid number for sure. And she was there at the fundraiser as well. And all of this. So we met her. And I was saying, okay, so what was the big deal about meeting the damn dress designer? And then she was there. I said, she must got a couple little dollars too. So she has a little boyfriend. And, you know, Stephanie was telling her, enjoy him because that shit don't never work. You know, men ain't nothing. Just enjoy him. So then we go and the fundraiser, Stephanie's mother gets up there and she says, we've raised $500,000 tonight. Child, Mr. Purifoy goes and makes a big old stand and he walks up there and writes a check and matches it for 500,000. Baby, them Carlisles were hot. They were so evil. You hear me? Because he floor showed. And of course, the press was there to get it. So that goes on. That was that. So the fundraiser, all of that's over. Gala's over. They go home. Stephanie and Evan get into it. They going back and forth. And it's where you see they really just don't like each other. Evan made some nasty statements, told her, you're always trying to please your father. It's amazing to me that you didn't just marry your father. She took and said, and smacked the shit out of him. So don't you ever talk to me like that again. He grabbed her up and slammed her against the wall and said, there she is. There's the bitch that everybody loves to hate. And then they're going back and forth, back and forth. So he said a couple little more things to her, and he went on, and he sat down, was taking his little socks and shoes off or whatever. Next thing you know, baby, she done rolled up beside him and put a gun to his head, honey, and told him, let me tell you something. If you ever talk to me like that again, I will blow your head off. And he told her, you're not going to do that. You're not going to put yourself in a position to have to try to get, you no way you'll get around killing the mayor. And she said, I will blow your head off and I will do you up so bad they won't even be able to find all the pieces of you to ever try to pin it back on me. I said, oh, all right, honey. And she went on and then she took and she gave him a nasty smooch on the side of his head, which took the gun off. I said, all right, honey. Said, okay. So that was that. So the very last thing we see old Bella in the shower. I said, now why are we back over to this dress designing broad? But listen, I was here for it because the little man that she deals with, I think he's a basketball player, so he'll be fine. I said, well, I guess they're going to be getting down. I guess we got to watch that. Okay. So then we see a man getting in the shower with her. Baby. It is Evan Lancaster, baby. She is screwing Stephanie's husband, and she's in love with him. She's in love with him, honey. And he told her, you're my woman, honey. And pressed her up against that glass, baby, and gave her 1, 2, 3, 4. I said, oh, a mess. Listen, I'm telling you, it's the love triangles that got me in because I was like, oh, child, this is so generic. The love triangles and the lesbonics got me to where we're doing this chit chat we're doing right now, honey. I'll see y'all next week, honey. Later.